3 Americans, 2 political parties, talking about one terminal diagnosis. This is Political Malpractice. And welcome back to Political Malpractice. It is me and Chris again this week. We got a lot going on this week.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, for sure.
What is your bet on Iran? I've seen
What is my
creators all
thoughts
saying,
on
"Oh,
Iran?
yeah, do you think we're going to bomb or no?"
Uh, Everything with Trump is like so hard to know whether he's bluffing or whether he really means it. Um, but I will say this, we're moving military equipment into the area and stuff like that. So, I mean, based on that, it certainly seems like it's more than a bluff. And as we saw before, we can launch an attack on Iran from Missouri because that's what happened last time.
So is he just staging or what? Because he did approach England and ask to use their airfields, and they said, "Nope, not going to
Right.
happen."
That was another thing that I saw too. And that kind of made me think that something is up there. Something's going on. So, I mean, I think it's a really bad idea, to go about it this way. I mean, if you want Iran to be a more friendly country, to me, it's kind of like, shoot, send the CIA and figure out some way to topple the government and get something that's a little bit more liberal, quite honestly, in power.
I think that Venezuelan oil money that they put in the bank over there in the Middle East, I don't think they're giving it back. And so I think underlying, that's what all of this is about. They're not giving him back his $300,000, and he's throwing a little bitch fit because that's what he is. He's a little bitch,
It's
and
hard for
that's
me to disagree anymore, Sasha.
part tongue in cheek. My prediction is part tongue in cheek, but at this point, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. Now, given all
No.
that, and given that I just called him a little bitch, and we talked a little bit last week about First Amendment issues, and this week we got a whole bunch of stuff that popped up. So Colbert was warned, Colbert by CBS. So CBS told Colbert, you can't have James Tallarico on your show or else the FCC is going to come after us. Colbert said on his show, James Tallarico was supposed to be here. But, and this was his quote, but we were told in no uncertain terms by our network's lawyers who call us directly that we could not have him on the broadcast because of the FCC. We've got
Well,
uh,
in all
well,
fairness,
we've
I will say that CBS offered a statement, and this is just to be fair. I mean, believe what you want, guys, but CBS offered a statement on this, which essentially said that, well, it kind of went totally against Colbert. It wasn't a matter of no uncertain terms. They said that their lawyers were recommending against doing it the way he was going to do it, and they offered an alternative approach. Um, so I mean, it's a matter of who you want to believe, So
haven't seen much on this, to be
mhm.
honest. Um, what what was the approach? Did CBS have an issue with the questions Colbert was going to ask, or what?
No, but in keeping with fairness, they were wanting to have someone basically from the right to come on the same episode and to kind of balance out opinions. So, I mean, that's what CBS said. I mean, I quite frankly think the equal time rule is kind of bullshit. And the funny thing is you know, what's hilarious is Ronald Reagan, the great conservative, was the one who dismantled the idea of the equal time rule. And here the Republicans are trying to stick it back down our throats again.
So CBS wanted to kiss Carr's ass basically then and say, okay, we give, we give. We will give you yet another platform. When you have all of Fox News, who is nothing but lunatic right. I mean, at this point, it's not even lunatic left. It's
Girl, you
entirely like
haven't seen
ridiculous.
Lunatic Right unless you've watched One American News.
Oh God, is that a thing? I knew there was
It is a
Newsmax. I know
thing.
there's.
Oh, I mean, I've personally been on Newsmax. Newsmax is nothing compared to OAN.
What is it called? One American News.
Uh-huh.
All right, I'm gonna check that out this week. I'm gonna check this
Yeah,
out.
you should.
I
Yeah,
have no idea what this
it's
thing.
batshit
I
crazy. Fox is nothing. Fox is like almost like moderate compared to these things.
crap. I'm gonna have to check them out. I'm assuming I can find them like they stream on their website, right?
Right,
All
right.
right,
That, and of course you know about Newsmax, which it is
right.
pretty nutter themselves. But my God, One American News, you just you can't outdo them.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
And
Um,
it's funny, I
the
may have been on their network, I just can't remember.
oh my God. All right, I will definitely check them out this week, and if I can manage to grab like some good screen videos, I will. Um, we've got DHS who sent administrative subpoenas to Google, Meta, Reddit, and a couple of other social media type things, and asked them in the subpoena to give them identifying information on accounts that were anti ICE and anti DHS. What the fuck? There was a
Right.
discussion about it on Fox, and Fox was trying to say, well, Biden did the same thing. Biden did the same thing. Biden didn't. He told them to flag foreign accounts and pay attention and make sure that based on these intelligence reports that we are giving you, social media companies, these are the accounts that we want you to just look at. They weren't asking for any kind of identifying information. They just wanted those accounts to keep an eye on them. As the host, that's kind of your responsibility. If you're the one in charge of this website, you're in charge of watching what they're putting out there, you know?
Mhm.
And that's all the Biden administration wanted them to do. They didn't want any personal information, no subpoenas were given. It was a discussion that they had based on actual real information. So potentially DHS, I mean, we are on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Blue Sky, we're on Substack. You freaking name it and we're on it for our podcast. They probably have our information. I mean, hopefully they've got a cute little gay flag next to our names, but
Well, yeah, I didn't show you my whole shirt. Casey, baby. Queers can
oh,
be.
that's cute.
But back to the point. I like to be a kid. I like to kid every once in a while. But um, I mean, when I kind of looked at this and did a little bit of research on it, it's kind of one of those things that I think that, well, not I think, I wish that our country would not politicize this type of stuff so much because, quite honestly, give me some time to look it up. I've done plenty of reading. I just can't remember exact examples through my off the top of my head. But we've seen this type of malfeasance from many administrations, Democrat and Republican. And so, I mean, quite honestly, I would just like, I disagree with what was done, but I wish people would come together and just be like, no, it's not okay for the government to subpoena companies to get information on political issues.
Okay, hold on. So you said that other administrations have done this. I just threw it into Google,
Well, maybe not
right? I
this
said, have
exact
any,
same thing, but I'm just saying stuff like it.
this is what I put. Have any administrations asked for personal information for dissenting social media accounts? Broad question, right?
Yeah, that is a very broad
Yes.
question. Yeah.
2026 indicates the DHS under the Trump administration ramped up efforts to identify and unmask individuals behind anonymous social media accounts that criticize or track ICE enforcement agents. Um, Looking through it, there's more for 2026 about ICE. There's methodology there about ICE. The ACLU stepped in to fight a few of them. The 67-year-old retiree had his data handed over. We talked about that last week. The
Mhm.
67-year-old who Google handed over his information and DHS showed up at his door. There is
Mhm.
no information about any other administration who is going to social media servers, companies, whatever, and saying, "Give me identifying information."
Well, I'm thinking more like what went on during, and some of it didn't even come from the presidency. It's just a government issue. I'm going way
So
back. I'm not talking about social media
here's here's
necessarily.
what we need to
I'm
make
talking
clear.
about like, what was his name? The guy, Joe McCarthy. I mean, that was a witch hunt conducted by the government
Okay,
based on political beliefs.
way back to McCarthyism.
You're right. No, but I'm just saying it's a consistent thing throughout our government for it to abuse its powers, and people need to put their feet down on it. It's not really a partisan issue. It should be bipartisan. We should all be like, no, the government has certain limitations.
I definitely agree. It does. There needs to be limits. And when we were in McCarthyism, we're dealing with Eisenhower, we're dealing with Truman. Eisenhower's a Republican, Truman's a Democrat. That was 75 years ago. And it was bad. And they got ripped for it. So why is he doing this now? And then you want to say, kind of give Trump an excuse and say, oh, well, it wasn't the president that did it. No, it's an agency that falls within the executive branch. The president has control over them.
Oh, see, I'm just thinking of the government more broadly. I'm not really thinking of the presidency specifically. So that's where my answer
Yeah,
came from.
but he has control. That's like looking at a 16-year-old kid who's running around the neighborhood knocking people's mailboxes down, saying, well, you can't blame the parents. Well, yeah, you can. Did the parents slap their hand after? Was there any punishment after? No.
Oh, is it because you see the
Same here.
presidency is like greater than Congress or something?
It has nothing to do with Congress.
Oh no, I'm
DHS
talking
is
about
an
the.
agency under the executive branch.
Oh no,
It's
I
Trump's
understand.
wheels.
I think that maybe what you might be not understanding here is I agree with absolutely everything that you've said. This is wrong. But I just broadened it out to a governmental thing. It wasn't to give Trump some sort of excuse. I'm just saying the
It,
government in
it
general
sounded
has
like you
been
were trying
shitty.
to take something off his plate. It sounded like you were trying to take something off of his plate.
No,
But
oh
okay.
good lord, no, 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 no.
So that's what I've got for the First Amendment issues this week. I can't remember anything else off the top of my head. I know I watched TikTok a little bit today, but that's it. Um, we've got voter fraud issues. Ding, ding, ding. MAGA should be super happy, right? Tulsi Gabbard went in, stole ballots from Georgia, and voter fraud was found. Ask me where it was found.
She
Ask me,
asked
Chris.
where it was. Oh, where was it found? Yeah, because this was the one I didn't know as much about.
Yeah, who committed the fraud? How many undocumented immigrants committed fraud?
Well, I mean, I don't know anything about that, but I'm
This
guessing
many.
that
This many.
Tulsi committed some fraud or something.
No. No, Tulsi didn't commit fraud. She went into Fulton, Georgia. She snatched up the election ballots, chasing the 2020 ghost of election fraud. And at the same time, the Georgia Election Board found that Elon Musk was the one committing the fraud. He had sent
Oh, I
pre-filled
see. I see.
absentee
Wait.
ballots
Okay.
to citizens in the state. So, yeah, it's not a native born American citizen. It's someone who fraudulently gained his US citizenship and he committed the fraud. What the hell? Is he in jail?
No, no. Well, of course
No.
not, because I mean,
No.
this. Let's face it, this immigration thing and all the concern about illegals is really a right wing thing for the most part. I mean, sure. I mean, if you're not supposed to be here, I don't want you here. I want your ass out. I don't care what your age is or whatever. Your ass needs to get out. But at the same time, what's going on in these types of situations, I mean, it's obvious that the Republican Party is like completely corrupt. The conservatives are completely corrupt, and they're the ones arguing about voter fraud. And I mean, Democrats bitched about like hanging chads. Okay, which was
Yeah,
ridiculous, which was also ridiculous as well. But the thing is like they never really claimed like voter fraud per se. It's like the Republicans who took it there. And I'm kind of like,
they
you know,
saying we
um,
know those chats.
right, right. Yeah. To me, it's more like, okay, so you guys have taken this to a new level. And I'm kind of suspicious because the squeaky wheel likes to get the grease. And so if you're bitching so much about voter fraud, my guess is you're probably the one doing.
Definitely. I mean, come on. We had all those fake elector schemes that were coming out after 2020. It's just ridiculous. I'm looking for a particular article. Oh well.
While you
Um
look for
so
that, I can fill some airtime here. By the way, Elon Musk, the richest man in America, I think he still is the richest man in America.
the
Um,
richest
yeah, fact check me on that one.
I'm pretty sure he's the richest man in the world.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say it was funny because he was talking about how straight white men were under such attack, guys. I mean, seriously, guys. He was talking about straight white men being under attack. This is the richest guy in America who is a straight white man. And I don't know. I mean, if it was some poor hillbilly from the Ozarks in Missouri, I might understand his point, because at least he has somewhere he's coming from. But my God, when you're the richest man in the freaking United States, my heart does not go out to you. Sorry, fuck off.
Why was he saying that straight white men are under attack because women don't want to put up with patriarchal, misogynistic bullshit from men anymore?
I can't remember exactly what it was. I made a post about it on X, and of course, I got a few people because I do have a larger right wing following. And as I've been shifting my political talk a little bit, I'm meeting
Hmm.
a little some pushback. And when I talked about that, of course, everybody brought up DEI and all this type of stuff and how it had negatively affected men and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, it probably did to some degree. But last time I checked, white men, especially straight white men, are still pretty much in control of the whole fucking world.
Yeah, yeah. What are they crying about? So I do want to talk about because I think I found that article. It's a little bit of an older article. I'll update it next week if I find the one that I was actually wanting to look at. I'm going to jump around our agenda because that's just what I seem to do. Um,
Right.
more and more issues are coming up with the Epstein files. Did we? I think we talked about last week that New Mexico is investigating Zorro Ranch, one of
Yeah, that was
Epstein's
like his
really.
ranch that he had in New Mexico.
Yeah, yeah. So they're going to go and check that out. They've got cadaver dogs, the whole nine yards out there. They've budgeted 2.5 million to see if they can find any evidence out there based off of what came out in the files. This week, Prince Andrew was arrested. Former Norwegian Prime Minister was arrested. Um, so we're getting some movement in countries other than America.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
New
isn't it
Mexico,
funny that no one in the United States
yeah.
is really paying for this?
I mean, at least states themselves, or at least New Mexico, is starting to do something and really look into
Right.
this. I don't know why Donnie hasn't jumped on this, other than the fact that Adams left him with a giant budget mess. New
Yeah.
York, under their statute, a mayor can't leave an unbalanced budget, and a current mayor can't have an unbalanced budget. And because Trump decided to not finish like some road stuff over there, he left New York holding the bag, which means he's underwater by several $1 million. And so he's trying to find it. So maybe that's kind
Mm.
of delaying them. We know Florida is not going to look for any sex offenders because Florida is just going to pretend like it doesn't exist. There's no such thing as sex abuse. Florida doesn't believe in that shit. Um, what has come out, though, is that Ghislaine Maxwell's legal team has 3 unreleased FBI interviews with a woman who said that Donald Trump assaulted her as a child. There's a total of 4 interviews. Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer has 3 of them. There was one interview that was released in the files that pointed to the other 3 and said that Ghislaine's team had them. The DOJ, when people started talking about that one of 4, the DOJ took it down out of the Epstein files because people were going to look and they were saying, well, it's not here anymore. What happened? And then all of a sudden it miraculously reappeared. So I'm sure that
Mm.
the DOJ is going to say they just had a glitch, but I think they were trying to remove it. And at this point, people are internet savvy enough to screenshot and to make sure they have all these things. But they have those 3 interviews that have clear fingers pointing at Trump. Credible interviews. I guess in there's a lot of things that give weight to the interview as being pretty solid. Um, I don't know. Is Ghislaine going to commit suicide sometime soon?
Well, she wouldn't be the only person influenced by the government to suicide themselves.
No.
Again,
By
I tend
influence,
to,
I hope we
I
have
tend to
the
take
rope
kind of
tied.
an. Well, I'm just saying again, I tend to take more of an anti-government stance on this stuff. Because it's like this is yet another example of where the government is like going way beyond what it was ever intended to do. And now it's covering up the rich and powerful, that support it basically. And
It's
yeah, of course she's going to suicide herself soon, you know.
At this point, I don't even think that it's all of the rich and powerful. Um, I think it's the Trump administration. It just came out yesterday that Sean DeRemer, who's the husband of the current labor secretary, um, her name is Lori Chavez DeRemer, but Sean DeRemer had 2 women accuse him of sexual abuse while on the grounds of the Department of Labor. They were somewhere in the Department of Labor building. He groped them. They brought those
Oh, right.
allegations out
Yes, I
against
read
him.
that story. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
And the
about.
Bureau said, yeah, no, we're not going to do anything about this. To add to that, this is now a husband and wife sexual crime team that we've got. I don't know if you remember, sometime mid late 2025, there was some scandal about Lori. She was making up trips, like business trips for her that she had to take for the Department of Labor. Because, They do so much international influence, I guess. I don't know where the hell she thinks she's going. But she falsified business trips. She took her lover, who is also an employee at the Department of Labor, with her, had an affair with that guy. She took other staff members at different times to strip clubs. And while all of this, the drama about her, the drama about her husband are now, of course, exploding because of the Epstein files. Trump gets out there and says, "Oh, she's doing a tremendous job."
Yeah,
I mean,
well, I
by
mean,
Trump's
the thing
standards,
is
you have to be a
Trump,
sexual deviant to be a good employee.
right? Well, the thing is Trump is, a con man. I'm willing to admit that at this point. He is
Yeah.
like totally a con man. And so it doesn't really surprise me that, you know, oh, well, let me put it this way. Let me rephrase it. I suspect he's a con man. Anyway, the thing is that, I think that if you got someone who I suspect is like that at the top of the leadership, then that means that all of the, little minions below are probably going to be just the same.
Well, no doubt. But it do you know, so as far as the what's her name, Lori Chavez, the Department of Labor secretary, when all of this broke about her lying about the trips that she was taking and taking her staffers to strip joints and things like that, do you know who got in trouble? She didn't get in
Well,
trouble. She didn't get in trouble at all. Her chief of
no,
staff, her deputy chief of staff, and her bodyguard were suspended. What the fuck?
yeah,
They
well,
didn't do it. She
right. I know, and they're pretty good about like pushing responsibility down.
It's the
And they do that
entire
all the time. Yeah.
It's the entire administration. So we also this week had Lex Wexner's deposition before the House Oversight Committee. His lawyer was caught on the mic, leaning over and whispering in his ear, and I quote, "I will fucking kill you if you answer another question with more than 5 words." What the fuck? What the fuck?
Oh my
There
God.
is no There is no saving this administration. Now we're going to get another one. Here's another one. This week, who is he? Dr. John Martini, who is a friend of Donald Trump. If you Google the guy, it says he is a personal friend of Donald Trump. He's
Mhm.
also supposedly a self-help author and a speaker on self-help shit, right? He was on an interview with Aubrey Marcus. I have no clue who Aubrey Marcus
Yeah,
is, but
I didn't recognize that name either.
yeah, I saw the clip. Whoever this Aubrey Marcus guy is, if he's MAGA, if he's center, if he's a lunatic leftist, I don't know who he is, but this guy was either ready to vomit or punch the guy in the face. I couldn't tell which. When DeMartini said that there are upsides to murdering children, there's upsides.
Well,
DeMartini also said women invite rape into their lives. This is your
hey,
guys' president's personal friend, America. Birds of a
yeah,
feather, right? I mean, my parents
yeah.
do that all the time.
Obviously that's complete bullshit. I mean,
Well, of
and I'm
course, it's
assuming
complete
he's talking
bullshit.
about murdering children who have already been born, or is he talking about abortion too?
I couldn't find anything more in depth.
Okay, I just
Just that
wondered.
he said there was an upside to murdering children. Now, because this man said that women invite rape into their lives, I don't think that saying that there's an upside to murdering children is in defense of abortion. I don't think that was a pro-life statement.
Well, no, it's definitely not a pro-life statement. It's a pro-choice statement, I guess. Depending on how you look at
He
abortion.
said women invite rape into their lives. That
Right.
is not a pro or pro-abortion statement at all. It's
Well,
clearly not
it's
pro-life.
misogynistic shit.
Right. But you're not going to find a misogynist who supports a woman's choice. A misogynist is not going to
Nah,
support bodily autonomy.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like
Well,
there is not enough
I mean,
cognitive
obviously,
dissonance
it
to
reminds
have
me
to
of
hold.
that. It reminds me of that one asshole that said, "Oh, I can't even remember his name," but it said something about like women getting raped and their bodies having a way of shutting that down. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about. Yeah,
That was
and that
some
was a lot.
senator who woman's body reject the pregnancy if it comes from a rape. No, you dumb fuck. And 10-year-olds are not fit to be mothers if they are forced to bear children.
Right. And this whole thing that women invite rape into their lives. I mean, it's I don't know. It's like these people are they're
Here's
just
the bottom
so
line.
nuts.
Here's the bottom line when it comes to rape. If lesbians can control themselves, rape men can control themselves. You don't see all these women in jail because they raped another woman because they were sexually attracted to her and they felt like it, or they felt like just having this power over her. You just don't.
No,
And it is
no,
rare that you see a gay man being charged with rape, because having that kind of power over a man, one, isn't guaranteed, and two, I've never met a gay man that feels like he has to prove his manliness the way that a cis man does. Ever. Straight men rape women because they are feeling less than. It is some power trip that they have to have.
Oh, it is definitely a weird one. You're right. I mean, rape among gay men is also extremely low. It happens, but it's definitely pretty damn low.
Yeah.
I've looked into it
It
before.
it happens. I don't doubt that it happens in the lesbian community. You know, I don't doubt it. I've never heard of it, but I am sure that somewhere out there, and it rape doesn't have to be physical hold you down, coercion, using guilt, things like that. I'm sure that
Right.
that's more prevalent in the lesbian
Hmm.
community.
Sure. And actually, I think that's the more prevalent one, in even among gay men.
Yeah. It's straight men that feel the need to be psychos like that. So, I do want to go back because you said a few minutes ago, you had said that, yes, Trump's a con man. And then you kind of backed off. Like at first you said, yes, he is a con man. Done. I will say that now. He's a con man. Then you backed off and said, well, maybe he's a con man.
Uh,
So let's talk about
total
I'm not
legal.
accusing you. Clarification.
Nope, total legal reasons. I have been sued before for defamation of character, and I know to cover my tracks now.
I will say right now, and this is not legal advice. I am not your lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a law student. But there is my little asterisk disclaimer that the truth is always a defense to defamation. And calling Trump a con man, calling him a pedophile, calling him a rapist, calling him racist is all truth. I mean, come on, Christy. I got my first name out here. My last name is Delgado. Let's go. Let's go, bitch. I will play that fucking game. Because the minute you sue me for that shit, guess what comes next? Discovery. That's what
All
comes
right.
next. So now, let's go on this. The Board of Peace had their inaugural meeting, right? the Board of Peace with Trump and a whole bunch of other authoritarian dictators, because there's nobody
I
legitimate
know, I
that's
know. Don't you love how the Board of Peace is who it's made up?
I, I think they misspelled it. They spelled it BOARD. I think they meant to put BORED, Board of Peace. I think that's what they really meant. Um,
I'm guessing. Yeah, yeah.
I think. But Trump stole $10 billion from the American people. Snatched 10, or I'm sorry, I said million. I meant billion with a B. $10 billion he took from the American people and put it into the coffers of the Bill of Peace. The several issues are that Congress has power of the purse. Congress appropriates. Trump does not. Congress gives the executive branch their allowance. Here's free money. This belongs to the executive branch. Do with it what you will. And that's how presidents are able to build basketball courts, donate money to certain causes, whatever, right? Because they are given an allowance, basically. Um, he was not given an allowance of $10 billion. He stole that money from the country. He is a con man, period. There is no
Well, I
question about that.
well, let's look at who's on the so-called Board of Peace. It's very interesting. It's all of these generally Islamic countries.
Victor
Not
Orban.
saying one way or another on that. It's just, worth noting, I think. And they're all most of them are oil rich countries, and they have a whole bunch of money. And I think that it's interesting that the so-called Board of Peace, because this is all, if for those who don't remember, this is all supposed to be about solving the problem between Israel and Palestinians. And
The board was initially sanctioned by the UN because their focus was supposed to be rebuilding Gaza.
right.
That was
And
supposed to be their
so
focus.
I find it interesting that one, Israel is not on the Board of Peace. So you would kind of think that you might want them on
They are.
there since they are a
They are.
part of the
So
conflict. Well, I didn't think they
they are.
were.
Key members include the US, Saudi Arabia, Israel, the UAE, Qatar, Egypt, Turkey, Jordan, Morocco, Bahrain, Kuwait, Argentina, El Salvador, Paraguay, Albania, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Bulgaria, Kosovo, Hungary, Indonesia, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, Pakistan, Uzbekistan, Vietnam, and Cambodia. Who?
So fucking random.
How,
But
how is Vietnam and Cambodia? How are they going to help with Gaza? Fucking how?
well, I mean, ultimately, let's put it this way. Okay, so I was wrong about the Israel component because that was something that I thought was just kind of weird that you wouldn't invite the other side in the, conflict to come in. But okay, so I was wrong about that. Um, but the funny thing is that I still fully believe that this isn't about rebuilding Gaza, it's about bulldozing it
Oh,
and
yes. They have
bulldozing the
said
whole thing.
they have said that their plans are to build a luxury resort on top of the
Right.
rubble in Gaza. The fuck? But
Yeah,
there's where your $10
exactly.
billion are going. Becca. So much for America first. Can you imagine all of the healthcare that could pay for, the homes that could pay for?
Right. Right.
$10
Right.
billion.
Yeah.
How many Americans would be able to get a low interest loan from the government if they had a $10 billion bank to pull from and be a first time home buyer? That would have made America great. Not again, because we've never been great, but that would have been a step towards greatness. And instead, he stole it. He stole that money. Just like he stole the money that supposedly is going to build this stupid fucking ballroom, just like he stole his $1 billion to fix the jet that Qatar gave him, you know, just like he's stealing the $10 billion he's asking for in damages because he's suing the American people for the leaking of his taxes. I mean, he is suing us left and right. You're the president. That's a huge conflict of interest. Can I now sue my government because Musk had access to my social security information? That was a clear leak. You
Right.
opened the fucking henhouse door and welcomed in an entire den of foxes. I can't sue him for that bullshit, but he can sue me for $10 billion because somebody
Right.
leaked his taxes fucking what, 10 years ago? Grow up, baby.
Well, I mean, ultimately, my problem with it is something that you pointed out. It's not America first. I mean, why the hell are we even interested in this? It's not our problem. And then, secondly, okay, fine. You say you're going to rebuild Gaza into this luxury place. It's like, well, most of those people there are fairly poor. I mean, so obviously they're going to get displaced now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I don't know.
Give them.
I mean, my personal thing is just let Israel and Gaza just fucking fight it out. I know that sounds cruel, but
Let them fight it out.
it's
Israel. Israel has been crying about their land since the fucking dawn of time, basically, since the supposed birth of Jesus fucking Christ, because they claim that they're God's people. And I know you're Jewish, but there is no Jesus, there is no religion. Knock it the fuck off. If you want to believe in the stories, believe in the fucking stories. Don't make it everybody else's problem. You and Gaza figure it the fuck out. Grow up. Stop fighting. Stop.
well, I mean,
Children are being.
I disagree with you on the fact that, there's no God or anything because I know that you're an atheist. But I mean, I don't care to argue that. I mean, that's a deep-seated thing that is like, I never care to argue that with people. But
If people want to have their religious beliefs, have them. Keep them out of the government. Keep them fucking away from automatic weapons. Your
well, no,
religious
I
belief is not the
no,
war.
I mean, I trust me, I am the first one to scream separation of church and state, and I mean, I have some examples of things that I've said recently publicly, but as far as that's concerned, I mean, kind of, even though we may not necessarily agree on some of those basic points that you made, the end result is still the same. I ultimately think that it's something that the Palestinians and Israelis need to figure out on their own.
Hmm.
You know, figure it
It's
the fuck out. Or one just annihilates the other, but it's not the world's problem.
it, we definitely don't need to be building luxury resorts there. I want my 10
No.
million or $10 billion back because we've got a deficit. And I don't know, Trump might owe us anywhere from 125 to $238 billion in taxes. So Supreme Court came back and said, no, the tariffs are illegal. You can't do that. You know,
Right.
they haven't said anything about refunds. Funnily enough, though, Trump's DOJ lawyer who went to argue for these tariffs was asked by the Supreme Court about, I think it's like Section 2 of the Tariff Act of 1964, something like that. Uh, Here it is, Section 122 of the Tariff Act of 1974. Justices had asked him, why did he use this? Could he have used this act instead of the Emergency Powers Act to do the tariffs? His own lawyer said no, that Section 122 of the Trade Act doesn't apply to the tariffs, and the reason that he did it, and here's why, and gave some big example, right? After SCOTUS said, your tariffs are illegal, no, you can't do that, Trump came out and said, okay, well, I'll just use Section 122 of the Trade Act. You dumb fuck. Your fucking lawyer said you can't do that. Now you're going to do it, and you're going to send some poor other fool in there to argue why now you can? Come
By the
on.
way, guys, I just want to clarify something. I made a slip, and it's I like to fuck up words intentionally as a joke with certain people, and I said Israelis. That is what I generally call them. Even though I'm Jewish, it's just a funny thing that I like to say. And yes, I know that they are Israelis. I wanted to clarify that because I didn't preface that. Anyway, so, so yeah,
That's what we're going to get dinged is our anti-Semitic promotion. That's what we're going to get
I
dinged on.
know. Oh my God. I'm an anti Semitic Jew. Jesus Christ. Oh, whoops.
You are an anti-Semitic blaspheming Jew.
Right. Exactly. I'm bad. I'm bad. Um,
Oh my.
well, this isn't the first time that we've had a battle set up between the Supreme Court and the presidency. This has certainly happened in the past. And unfortunately, the Constitution really doesn't give the Supreme Court, and Democrats have also made the same argument before, too. The Constitution really doesn't give the Supreme Court any authority to actually enforce their rulings, which is a problem. I think that that's a
The
problem.
Jews not have any enforcement power, and it
What was
is a
that again?
problem.
I'm sorry.
The judiciary doesn't have enforcement power. Now,
Yeah.
here's why I don't think that our founding fathers thought that we would ever, as a country, get to a point where we have a pedophile authoritarian president, a majority of Congress that are weak, lily livered, chicken shit, pedophile protecting bootlickers, and a court that like to bend over and spread it for the authoritarian pedophile president. The founding
Yeah.
fathers never thought we would get to this. They
I
thought
think
that
that's
there would
true.
always be a gentlemanly demeanor where we talked about stuff and people could be reasoned with. And now we
All right.
can't. You know, the only three justices that were against Trump were the three that he has somehow promoted or bestowed a benefit upon. We've got Kavanaugh that was for the tariffs, Thomas was for the tariffs, and Alito was for the tariffs. I can't fucking wait until midterms. As soon as we have a majority in the House, the administration gone, the justices gone. If Democrats know what is smart for them, and if they want to ensure the next 10 to 15 votes for the president go to Democrats, they will clean house and they will bring that justice fast. None of this lollygagging and threatening and letters and all that bullshit. Impeach and convict everybody and get them out. They got to be gone.
I mean, I would offer some extra advice to Democrats, which is to generally ignore the most so called progressive part of their party, because I find it to be the most regressive. And I don't think that a lot of Americans disagree with me on that. So it's just a move that they might want to
You
make.
like to bring this shit up when we've only got 12 minutes left.
Well, I mean, it's just some
I
advice.
mean,
It's honest. It's
progressive,
honestly friendly
progressive,
advice.
progressive, regressive is the same as war is peace, freedom is slavery. So elaborate
Well,
so that I can
I
take
mean,
out of the
let's put
villain.
it this way. So far right people would call themselves conservatives, okay? Which is not true. Conservatism is not authoritarianism, but we know that the far right is very authoritarian. So, but they call themselves conservative all the time. It's kind of the same thing. I think progressives, but I am talking about a certain level of extreme progressives here. I'm not saying everyone who considers themselves progressive, but there
Well,
are certain
elaborate.
progressive. Well, I mean, I just like I saw this guy who was standing addressed and even claimed to be trans or anything like that, giving a speech before a school board saying "fuck you" to the parents, all this type of shit. And I'm like, reel that type of crap back in. It's like it's making you guys look really bad.
But what's wrong? Why do we care about a guy wearing a dress? It's no different than a woman
No,
wearing
it's
pants
not
in night.
that. It's like he looked like a fucking freak. There's no way I'd let my kids be around him. It's like, I mean, I'm
Sure,
sorry.
I
Huh?
don't care if men wear dresses. I don't give a shit. A man wearing a dress is the same as a woman wearing pants.
Oh,
Women
I
were
don't
considered
disagree in
those
I don't
outcasts
disagree in
for wearing.
principle. I don't disagree in principle. I'm just saying that generally speaking, the only men out there going out and wearing dresses, I mean, he made me embarrassed as a gay man because he was obviously gay. And I was just like, fuck you, dude. I don't stop it. Stop it. You're making me look bad. Stop. Shut up and sit down. And that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. I'm just like, if these craziest parts of the progressive movement were essentially shunned, then I would be happier than fuck to join the Democrats again.
But then all you're doing by promoting shunning anybody anywhere is taking the tiny segment of MAGA that promotes shunning and expanding to just shun
Well,
other people.
you have to remember I'm not
Why does
MAGA.
it matter if the guy is wearing a dress?
No, you have
But
to
it's the
remember I'm
same.
not.
Promoting
You
the
have to
shunning
remember
of
I'm not
anybody.
MAGA. No, you have to remember I'm not MAGA anymore, though. So I mean,
But what
I'm
you're
not
doing is
trying to bring
worse. You're
MAGA
standing there
ideology over to the
outside the
left.
MAGA gate. But what you're doing is standing there outside the MAGA gate saying, extend your gates. Extend the gates this way so that we can shun people too. Let's just make this gate bigger so that we can include more people, but still shun others. Why?
Well, I mean, I
Like,
think because
that
these
guy
people
look
are
ridiculous in his actions? Probably. Like, I didn't see it.
I think it's mostly because that, ultimately it hurts people like you and me when these weirdos get up there and actually talk in public. And so, I mean, I am fine with shunning them. That's not necessarily a MAGA thing. I mean, trust me, the left shuns people all the time, you know.
I am more I am more concerned about the harm that comes to me as a gender, to women, right? I'm more concerned about the harm that comes to women from straight men and backwards ass women. I'm more concerned about the harm that they're bringing me before I'm ever going to look at a dude in a dress screaming at a school board thinking that he's somehow harming me. If he wants to
Hey,
wear a
our
dress
priorities
and
are different. And actually our priorities are obviously different, and that's okay because I mean you are a woman. I can understand why you see things the way you do. So I totally get it. But to me, someone who is not as affected by that, and that is a privilege of mine for sure, it allows me to think about the next level, which is okay, you're now harming me. Weird little dude in the dress screaming at the school board, because all these parents are sitting there looking at that. And what they're saying is like, I go through these Twitter feeds like all the time, or Facebook or whatever, whenever that shit comes up. And it's like, everybody is like, yeah, that's why you can't allow the fags around kids, and I'm just like, If I wouldn't allow my kid around this dude, of course they're not going to allow their kid around this dude.
What they're not realizing, and what I think is happening to you and other people that see things the way that you do, you're kind of pulling an imaginary blanket of shame that they're saying you should have, right? Because there's a guy in a dress yelling in a school board, they say that's why we can't allow these fags around our kids. And immediately, people with your mindset say, exactly, stop it, because that's why they're so mad at us. Hello? Fuck the guy in the dress. Look at all of the white evangelical church leaders that are raping and abusing little girls. Look at them. It's not anybody that is gay. These are
I
straight
know.
white men. And the people that throw the first stone, God, I wish they would read their own fucking Bibles. The ones that are throwing the stones are the ones with the most sin. So the dads that are sitting there saying, we shouldn't let these fags around our kids, CPS needs to go visit that dad's house, because I guarantee you he is the one that is being inappropriate with his child. Point blank, period. Because every time people say shit like that about the gay community, the trans community, whatever, they're the ones that are doing it.
Well,
And
I,
they
I
have
mean,
projected that, they've
I think
projected that
that,
mindset out so far that our own community has pulled that blanket of shame over our heads. And that's bullshit.
well, I mean, the funny thing is like ultimately I'm kind of fine with people doing whatever the fuck they want and dressing however the fuck they want and all that type of stuff. But I mean, there's just a certain type of person that generally does the types of things that I'm talking about. And I'm just talking about someone who is pretty far left. And, I'm just kind of like, I don't think you're helping anything. And I understand where you're coming from. I do. I truly do.
I will
But
agree with you. I will agree with you on I don't think you're helping anything. I don't. There's a reason why there are dress codes. There are ways to present in certain situations. So I will give you that. He probably didn't
that's
help
really
anything.
all the validation that's all the validation I'm looking for from you, girl.
Right. His entire message is lost. But anybody that's listening, I caution you, when you see somebody who is presumed to be in the gay community, don't take that knee jerk of, oh my God, you're making us look bad. Stop it. Because that's pulling the shame that society has thrown over us for centuries. It's pulling it right back up over your head. Let that shit fucking go. That person ain't making the gay community look bad. His message is flying over the heads of closed-minded people. Absolutely. But that doesn't make us look bad. So anybody that's listening, Jesus, don't take that shame upon yourself, because it's not our shame.
Well, guys, I mean, the thing is, I'm not talking about shame. The thing is, I'm just talking about pragmatism and the reality of the world that we exist in. And right now, you going like, you may have even seen the video at one point in time. The blue guy at the Missouri House of Representatives committee meeting. Oh, okay. Yeah, it went on libs of TikTok and all that type of stuff and made its way around the internet. And I was there. I was there. And I'll tell you what, everyone from the community that showed up to go against basically what I was saying, which was that, or I won't even get into the exact politics of it. I'll just say the people from the gay community who showed up looked like absolute freaks. It was a complete embarrassment. And even Democrat lawmakers that I talked to afterwards said it was hard for them to take anyone seriously because they looked like clowns.
Absolutely. I will say that there is a reason why you dress certain ways, you present certain ways in certain situations, because people have to be put into boxes and they only see things that are in the boxes that they understand. You know, I rail about it. I rail about having to wear a suit, do this, do that, cover my tattoos, blah, 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 blah. I'm not fooling myself. I am not going to be the person that's going to make that change.
Right.
That's not the fight that I want to have. So I will give you that. Don't make yourself look like a jackdick when you're trying to express a very valid point. You know, um, we are at our 1 hour mark. I want us to go over like 5 minutes because I did want to talk about the hospital ship that Trump sent to Greenland.
Oh, yes, yes, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good
Hospital
one.
ship that Trump sent to a country with free universal health care. Do you know the irony of all this, though? Do you know the irony? Because I Googled it. He's saying people are sick in Greenland. I was like, who the fuck is sick in Greenland? So here's the deal. For a group for there's 60,000 people in this one particular area that he was talking about, right? That 60,000 population, they have 6 hospitals to care for 60,000 people. Here in Santa Clarita, we have a population of almost 230,000 people. We have one hospital. That one hospital might barely eke across the 200 bed line. And that's counting like labor and delivery beds in there. That's counting ER beds in there. Like they're scraping beds together to scratch over that 200 bed line. And he's sending a hospital ship. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
people here in America can't go see doctors. We've got no doctors, but he's giving them a ship. Do you know why
Well,
he thinks
and
they needed help?
what's really funny is they rejected it.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah.
but did you hear though? He thought they needed help because a U.S. soldier on a U.S. submarine just off the coast of Greenland got very, very ill, and the doctors in the submarine couldn't take care of him. So the submarine called Greenland and said, yo, we need a Coast Guard chopper. Like, we've got a sick soldier here. We need you to get him and take him to shore. He needs a hospital. Greenland saved our soldiers' ass. And somehow Trump thought that meant that the entire fucking country needed a hospital ship. The
Oh,
fuck?
good God. Yeah, well, I mean, it's obviously a part of his weird little thing to get Greenland. I mean, like I said before, it's like I understand maybe why that's strategically important, but I've come around more and more to agreeing with your original thoughts on that when we talked about it before, which is that we do this, through treaties and stuff like that, not by actually acquiring the country. Yeah, for sure.
Or we say, hey, Greenland, remember that treaty that we signed like in the 1950s that said that we could use 15 of your army bases? Yeah, we're going to send some people there. Is that cool? Because we have this treaty. We're going to send our people because we're scared Russia's going to do some shit to you.
All right.
Guess what? Greenland goes, okay, cool. We got a treaty. Send your people.
Right. It's so
Is it
simple,
so
and he's making it way more complicated than it needs to be.
Dementia does that. Dementia makes life way more difficult than it needs to be. Ain't got
Well,
nothing else on that.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if he has dementia. I mean, he might have oh God, what's it called? Narcolepsy. Because evidently he just falls asleep wherever the hell he wants.
I think I think that's just him being old. Old people just do that. Homie's in
Right.
his 80s. He eats like shit. He's got a ton of medical issues, even though he's supposedly 235 pounds and 6'3". Whatever. And
I'm
I'm a fucking
6'2"
Victoria's
and
Secret model.
230 pounds. He's already admitting that he's overweight because I'm overweight.
Are you really 6'3"?
6'2". I'm
Are
6'2".
you 6'2"? I do you know? So I'm 5'3". I went run around in my happy ass little virtual life here. just thinking that everybody's my height. You would be the second person that shocked the shit out of me because I just assumed you were my height. I have a
Oh no,
classmate who I just
I'm
assumed,
pretty
yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
have a,
tall.
I have a, yeah, I have a classmate that I just assumed like he's my height because I just think everybody's my height. Everybody's short like me. I was talking to him and he said something about like he can't find shorts or whatever that like aren't way above his knees. And I was like, dude, you're not that tall, are you? And he's like, I'm 6'4". I was like, oh my
Yeah,
bad.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
Oh, that's so funny. There is an advantage to getting into the 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" range because like when I was in high school, no one wanted to fuck with me. So it was good. Because I was the
I
cocksucker back
think
then too.
literally or figuratively. Never mind. That's too much information.
Yeah,
That will get the
yeah.
YouTube channel taken down. All right, my dear. That is it for us this week. We will talk to you all next week. Have a great week. Be safe. If we go to war with Iran, I don't know, stock up on barrels of gas because you're probably gonna
Yeah,
need it.
get a bunch of gas, and I get some extra ammo because I already did that.
Yeah. Jeez Louise, yes. All right, guys, that is it for us this week. Have a great one, and we will see you next Sunday. Bye.
Take care, guys.
If you want a second opinion or just something to rage about, hit that button and subscribe. This has been Political Malpractice.